My hands were gone. The bone wolves ate them first. They liked soft flesh. Human flesh. Warm flesh. They tore through my fingers while I was still alive, crunching the bones between their teeth like brittle candy. One wolf pinned my arm down while another slowly peeled the skin from my wrist. I heard the wet tearing. I felt every second of it. The monster growled happily. Sweet! Another wolf laughed through blood-covered teeth. This one tastes better than the others. My throat had already been ripped open. I couldn't even scream anymore. Blood soaked the black soil beneath me while the wolves circled closer beneath the dead moonlight. Far above the gorge, thousands of players screamed across the endless forest while the survival system continued its first massacre. But the people I searched for were already gone. My classmates, my friends, the people I trusted, especially Era, the girl who smiled while pushing me into the abyss. The last thing I saw before falling was her beautiful face above the collapsing bridge. Calm, relieved, victorious. You always made me feel small, Nova. Then she let me die. The wolves continued feeding. One chewed through my wrist. Another dragged away part of my leg, my vision blurred. And somewhere above the forest, the system spoke. Player Nova eliminated. Darkness swallowed me whole. Then, something ancient opened its eyes inside my soul. Long before the monsters came, I lived a simple life. Poor, small, human, or at least that was what I believed. I grew up inside a tiny apartment with my mother. The ceiling leaked during storms. The kitchen barely fit 2 people. The walls smelled faintly of detergent and fried garlic, but it was warm. My mother sold food from a roadside stall from morning until midnight. Her hands were rough, burned, cracked from heat and winter. Yet every night she still made sure there was rice waiting for me when I came home. Sometimes meat, usually not. I later realized she often lied about already eating. Mom, why aren't you hungry? I ate earlier. Lie, I always knew. She never once lived for herself. Not once. People mocked her for being poor. Relatives called her a disgrace. Some whispered worse things when they thought I couldn't hear. Single mother, no husband, no family support. Still she smiled. Still she worked. Still she protected me. When boys harassed me at school, she taught me how to break fingers. When girls mocked my cheap clothes, she taught me to destroy them with results instead. Be better than them, she told me. People forgive beauty. They forgive wealth, but they never forgive talent. So I became talented, dangerously talented. I remembered everything after seeing it once. Equations became instinct. Languages became patterns. Numbers felt alive inside my head. At school, my grades were never less than perfect. And people hated me for it. Especially rich kids. Especially beautiful kids. Especially people born into privilege who couldn't accept losing to a girl wearing cheap shoes. That was how Era entered my life. Era Rain was the daughter of a billionaire. Her father donated an entire physics building to the California Institute of Technology. Professors feared offending her. Students worshipped her. Social media loved her. She was beautiful in the kind of way that made rooms rearrange themselves around her. Long silver black hair, perfect smile, eyes that looked warm until you noticed they never stayed warm for long. Era didn't study. She used people. The second-ranked student wrote her homework. The debate club president edited her speeches. Research assistants practically worshipped her for internships and connections. Then I arrived, and suddenly people started comparing us. Not because I tried to compete, because I won effortlessly. Every exam, every research paper, every presentation. The more I succeeded, the colder Era's smiles became. Then Ethan appeared. Quiet, smart, kind in a careful way. He came from a modest family like mine. Unlike everyone else, he spoke to me normally. That alone was enough to make Era furious. Because Ethan used to orbit around her too, but he stopped looking at Era and started looking at me. That was when Era decided I had to disappear, but she didn't bully directly. No, Era was smarter than that. She isolated people. One girl stopped partnering with me after Era invited her to private parties. A professor suddenly became hostile after meeting Era's father. Rumors spread quietly. Nova thinks she's better than everyone. She's manipulative. She's using Ethan. Soon people smiled less around me. Conversations stopped when I approached. And Era watched everything happen with elegant little smiles. One day she approached me directly. "I'll pay you $50,000 to write my thesis." I blinked. For a poor student, that money was life-changing. But I looked at her and said, "No." Her smile froze. Just for a second, then she laughed softly. "That's unfortunate." I didn't realize yet. That was the moment she truly started hating me. The world ended on a Thursday afternoon. One moment we were inside the physics department. The next, the sky split open. A giant red crack stretched across the heavens while every screen on Earth turned black. Phones, televisions, billboards, computers, everything. Then words appeared. "Welcome to the survival system." 5,000 people vanished instantly, including us. We woke beneath a blood-red moon inside a dead forest. The system gave only one command: survive. Then the monsters came. Huge wolf-like creatures made from exposed bone and rotten muscle tore through the trees. Students panicked instantly. One boy froze. A wolf ripped his face off. A girl screamed for help. Nobody helped. Civilization collapsed in under 3 minutes. I survived with a backpack, a steel pipe, and my mother's lessons: run when necessary, fight when cornered, never wait for rescue. Thomas quickly became the group's shield. Tall, violent, feared back on Earth, yet strangely loyal to Era. He protected her constantly, took injuries for her, nearly died for her, and Era rewarded him with smiles, just enough to keep him obedient. Then the bridge happened. The bridge stretched over a black abyss. Old, rotting, swinging violently above endless darkness. Monsters closed in behind us. Too many people. Too much weight, someone whispered first. The bridge won't hold everyone. Fear spread instantly. People started calculating survival, not morality, survival. Era looked at me quietly, then smiled. "Nova's smart. She'll figure something out." I understood immediately. Thomas avoided my eyes. Ethan stepped forward. No. But panic had already won. Hands shoved me backward. The bridge snapped beneath my feet, and Era watched me fall, not with hatred, with relief. As if removing me finally allowed her to breathe. Then darkness swallowed me whole. The wolves ate me alive. They skinned my arms, tore through my stomach, bit chunks from my face. One monster dug inside my ribs while another chewed slowly through my hand. And while they fed, my sealed memories shattered. I remembered fire, golden palaces, ancient beasts kneeling beneath burning skies. I remembered what I truly was: Nova. Third princess of the Phoenix clan, a bloodline older than kingdoms, a race that punished betrayal with extinction. The wolves suddenly began screaming. Golden fire erupted inside their bodies. One exploded from within. Another clawed its own throat apart as flames poured from its eyes. Then my severed fingers moved. Bone reformed slowly. Flesh crawled back over my arms. My black hair turned crimson gold. My eyes opened. Pure molten gold. The forest fell silent. Even the monsters backed away. Because predators recognize greater predators instinctively. And at that moment, I was no longer prey. Trial 2 commencing. The world changed instantly. The forest vanished. I appeared inside a land of dying trees beneath a gray sky. Every branch twisted like broken fingers. Every tree cried, not metaphorically, actually cried. Thousands of whispers filled the air. Regret, loneliness, suffering. The ground itself pulsed like a heartbeat. Then the trees began speaking. My son abandoned me. My husband buried me alive. I waited 40 years. The voices overlapped until the entire forest sounded like one giant grieving mind. Then roots burst from the ground. One wrapped around my ankle and tried dragging me underground. Oh, absolutely not. I sliced the root apart with a fire blade. The screaming intensified. A giant hollow-faced tree leaned toward me. My children forgot me, I stared at it. Then get new children. Silence, the tree froze. What? You heard me. Find a hobby, start knitting. Date another old tree. Why are you emotionally dependent on people who clearly failed the assignment? The entire forest went silent. Then every tree screamed at once. Roots exploded from the ground like serpents. Branches sharpened into spears. The forest attacked. Oh, now you're all offended. I leaped backward while dozens of wooden spikes stabbed through the air where my head used to be. One branch cut across my cheek. Another slammed into my ribs hard enough to crack bone. The trees were fast, far faster than normal monsters. The sorrow inside them had become rage. Fine, if therapy wasn't an option, fire was. Golden flames exploded from my body. The nearest trees ignited instantly. But instead of dying quietly, the burning trees started running. Actually running. Hundreds of flaming, human-faced trees sprinted toward me screaming about betrayal and abandonment. That is deeply horrifying. I formed twin fire blades and charged forward. Wood shattered. Burning roots whipped through the air. One wrapped around my neck and slammed me into another tree hard enough to blur my vision. Another root pierced through my thigh. Pain exploded through my body. I ripped the root free manually. Blood poured down my leg. The forest smelled it. The attacks intensified immediately. Ah, so they were predators too. Interesting, I smiled. Then the phoenix inside me smiled wider. Fire erupted across the entire forest. The trees howled. The sky cracked. The system spoke. Trial 2 complete. I looked at the ashes. Will they respawn for the next players? Yes. That's unfortunate. The next world was endless sand. No wind, no sound, no life, just heat. I walked for hours. Then more hours. Then half a day. The desert never changed. Eventually, I sat down. System, can I buy food? Yes. A menu appeared. 1 bottle of water, 50 monster cores. 1 bottle costs 50. Inflation exists in every world. I hate you. Still, I bought 2 chicken sandwiches and water, then continued walking. That was when the sand beneath me moved. The ground rose. Higher, higher, higher. Then I realized. I wasn't standing on sand. I was standing on something buried beneath it. The desert exploded. A gigantic sandworm erupted from below. Its body was larger than skyscrapers. Its skin was covered in razor-sharp glass-like hairs. Its mouth opened wide enough to swallow buildings. I looked like an ant beside it. Desert King identified. Reward, 50 monster CORES. Oh good, murder bonus. The worm roared. The sound shattered dunes for miles, then it charged. The speed was impossible. I barely leaped aside before its jaws crashed shut where I'd been standing. Sand exploded everywhere. I landed on its body and stabbed downward with my fire blade. Nothing, not even a dent. Oh, come on. The worm reacted instantly. Every tiny glass hair on its body stood upright, then launched toward me. Thousands. I dodged the first wave. The second pierced through my leg. The third sliced across my stomach. One glass shard punched clean through my shoulder. I coughed blood. The shards tracked movement, like guided missiles. I leaped into the air. Bad decision. The worm's entire body twisted violently. I was thrown across the desert like a broken doll. My ribs cracked on impact. The worm opened its mouth. The inside glowed red-hot, acid, wonderful. I wiped blood from my lips, then grinned. Okay. Now I'm having fun. Golden fire exploded beneath my feet. I created a massive flame board and surfed across the desert at terrifying speed. The heat melted incoming glass shards before they reached me. The worm screamed. It hated the fire. Interesting. I accelerated. The desert blurred. The worm lunged. I shot directly into its mouth. Either this is genius or extremely stupid. Then I unleashed everything. Phoenix fire erupted inside the creature's throat. For 1 second, silence. Then the worm lost its mind. It slammed through mountains of sand. Its body twisted violently. The desert itself shook. The creature howled like a dying god. Fire spread through its insides. Its organs exploded one by one. Then the giant collapsed. Burning, dead, trial 3 complete. I lay on the sand breathing heavily. Half my body was shredded. My regeneration slowly repaired the damage. Worth 50 cores. I teleported again, then immediately choked. The air burned, not metaphorically, actually burned. The atmosphere itself was overloaded with volcanic gases and hyperdense oxygen produced by gigantic crimson plants growing across the cliffs. Every breath felt like inhaling heated metal. Normal humans would have died within minutes from oxygen toxicity alone. The system spoke. Warning, extreme atmospheric combustion zone. Ah, that explained why tiny sparks kept appearing across the landscape. The world itself was so saturated with oxygen and volcanic gas that almost anything could ignite. Wonderful. Rivers of molten iron flowed beneath cracked black stone. The sky glowed crimson. Heat distorted the air itself. Then something roared. A gigantic lion charged toward me. Its mane burned with chemical blue-white flames caused by the oxygen-rich atmosphere. It had eagle heads growing from both shoulders. Each head screamed separately. Behind it came a monstrous bull made of lava-covered muscle. Its hooves melted the ground. Its breath exploded like volcanic smoke. Oh, fantastic! Fire zoo. The lion attacked first. Fast, far too fast. One eagle head bit toward my throat while the lion claws aimed for my stomach. I twisted sideways. Too slow. The claws tore across my ribs. Blood sprayed onto molten stone. The bull charged simultaneously. Its horns slammed into my side. I was launched across the volcanic field. 3 ribs shattered, my vision blurred. The monsters didn't pause. Good, that made this interesting. I formed twin plasma hot phoenix blades, not ordinary fire. Condensed thermal energy. The lion lunged again. This time I countered. One blade pierced through an eagle head. The second shattered against the lion's claws. The impact sent shockwaves through the volcanic plains. The bull attacked from behind. I barely dodged. Its horn sliced through my arm completely. My severed arm hit the molten river. Rude. Pain exploded through me. The lion pinned me against a rock formation. Its jaws opened. Superheated breath blasted across my face. Then I smiled. You're close enough now. A concentrated burst of phoenix plasma erupted point blank. The lion's entire head exploded. The remaining eagle screamed. The bull slammed into me before I could recover. We crashed through molten stone together. The creature kept charging, relentless. My feet dug trenches through the volcanic ground. Then I grabbed its horns. The monster stared at me. I stared back. Do you know how annoying you are? Then superheated phoenix energy flooded through its skull. The bull exploded from the inside. Molten rock rained across the battlefield. I stood there breathing heavily while my regeneration repaired burned flesh. Trial 4 complete. Afterward, I collected the monster cores. 500. Dangerous beasts paid well. I bought a reinforced survival tent, medical supplies, grilled meat, cold water. Then I stared at the dead lion. Waste not. Phoenixes were apex predators. I roasted the lion over volcanic vents and ate half of it. It tasted amazing. And deep inside me, my sleeping power stirred. The next world nearly killed me instantly. Ice. Endless ice. A blizzard strong enough to erase mountains. The temperature dropped so violently my lungs froze during my first breath. Even Phoenix fire struggled here. Interesting, the system spoke. Survive until dawn. That sounded simple, which meant it absolutely was not. Then the snow moved. Thousands of pale creatures emerged from the blizzard. Tall, thin, humanoid, no eyes, only giant mouths stretching vertically across their faces, ice wraiths. The first one touched my shoulder. Instant frost spread across my arm, the flesh cracked open. Oh, that's deeply unpleasant. The creatures attacked together, silent. No roars, no screams, just endless white figures sprinting through the storm. I unleashed Phoenix fire. The flames killed dozens. Hundreds replaced them. Then the blizzard intensified. My fire weakened. The world itself was suppressing me. For the first time since awakening, I felt fear, real fear. One wraith bit into my leg. The cold spread upward instantly. Another creature grabbed my wing and ripped it apart. I screamed. The storm swallowed the sound. The monsters kept coming. Hours passed. I fought continuously. Burn, run, heal, repeat. At one point, I collapsed beside a frozen cliff. My body refused to move. The wraiths approached slowly through the snow. Waiting, patient, I laughed weakly. Mom would kill me if I died here. That thought alone dragged me back to my feet. I forced more fire into existence. Not rage, not destruction. Warmth, home. The memory of soup. The memory of my mother wrapping blankets around me during winter. The fire changed. Golden flames erupted outward like a newborn sun. The entire glacier exploded. Ice wraiths vaporized instantly. The blizzard vanished. The frozen world cracked apart. Trial 5 complete. I dropped to my knees, breathing hard. I really need a vacation. The sixth world was silent, too silent, an endless landscape made entirely from mirrors. The sky, the ground, the mountains, everything reflected me. Then the reflections moved independently. Wonderful. The first reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. Then it stepped out of the mirror. Another followed, then another. Hundreds of different versions of me surrounded the landscape. Some were burned alive, some wore crowns, some cried. One version had completely golden eyes and looked at me with absolute hatred. "You become a monster," she whispered. Another laughed. "You already are." Then the monsters appeared, creatures made entirely from broken reflections. Their bodies constantly shifted. Hands became blades. Faces melted into mirrors. The strongest one wore my face and knew every move before I made it. This battle lasted 3 days, 3 days of non-stop fighting. I lost count of injuries: broken spine, pierced lungs, burned nerves, crushed ribs. Every time I adapted, the mirror monsters adapted too. At one point, my own reflection stabbed through my stomach and whispered, "You enjoy hurting people now." I stared at her, then smiled slowly. A little. The reflection froze. Wrong answer. It expected denial, not honesty. I ripped the blade from my stomach and set the entire mirror world on fire. The reflections screamed. The world shattered. Trial 6 complete. While I survived the trials, Era destroyed everyone around her. Thomas became her attack dog. She manipulated him perfectly. When he was injured, she praised him. When he hesitated, she cried. When he questioned her, she kissed him. And every single time, Thomas obeyed, until the demon den. Thousands of monsters flooded the tunnels. Thomas fought like a machine. Broken arm, crushed ribs, half blind. Still he protected Era. Then a demon pierced through his chest. Thomas collapsed. Bleeding, dying, he reached toward Era. She stepped backward. Fear filled her eyes, not sadness. Fear. That was the moment Thomas understood. He was never loved, only useful. Then the monsters dragged him away screaming. Era didn't even look back. The final stage was a Coliseum larger than cities. Ancient kings watched from golden thrones. Demons, corrupted angels, beasts wearing human skin, all eating, laughing, betting. Humans fought below like entertainment. That was when I realized the truth. Humanity wasn't participating. Humanity was livestock. The kings cheered whenever someone died brutally. One creature applauded while a player was eaten alive. Another drank wine from a skull. Rage filled me. Cold, ancient, righteous. The phoenix inside me finally understood something. These beings deserved extinction. Then the Grandmaster appeared, beautiful, terrifying, ancient. Golden eyes locked onto me instantly. "A phoenix wearing mortal flesh," he whispered. Era saw him and immediately fell in love. Of course she did. People like Era worshipped power naturally. She tried charming him, manipulating him, seducing him. The Grandmaster listened politely, then bit through her throat, and devoured her soul while staring directly into my eyes. "Pathetic creature," he murmured, then he smiled. "Now, Phoenix Princess, entertain me." The battle shattered reality. Golden fire consumed mountains. The Grandmaster devoured souls. Entire sections of the Coliseum collapsed. Kings fled. Demons screamed. I burned brighter, harder, hotter. The Grandmaster laughed while dying. "You were never meant to exist in this world." I answered calmly. "Then this world should not have touched me." And I burned him to ashes. The survival system collapsed instantly. The remaining survivors were freed. Humanity called me miraculous. They never learned the truth. I returned home quietly, back to the tiny apartment, back to the woman waiting beside a stove. My mother touched my face gently. "You look tired." I had killed gods, destroyed monsters, walked through hell itself. Yet those words almost made me cry. So I held her tightly. And for the first time since the games began, I felt human again. Years later, the Phoenix clan crowned me queen. Ancient beast clans bowed. Worlds trembled beneath my name. But every week I still returned home. Back to the tiny kitchen. Back to the woman who raised me before I remembered divinity. My brothers and sisters adored her. The Phoenix clan called her Second Empress Dowager, the woman who raised the future queen while starving, the woman who taught kindness to a bloodthirsty race. One rainy evening, I rested my head in her lap while storms shook distant heavens. Ancient kings feared me. Gods whispered my name carefully, but my mother only sighed softly and brushed my hair back. "You still work too hard." I laughed quietly, a real laugh. Then I closed my eyes. Outside, worlds trembled. Inside that tiny apartment, the queen of the Phoenix clan finally rested. And somewhere far beyond the heavens, ancient beings taught the same warning to their children: never betray a creature loved deeply, because if kindness ever turns into wrath, even gods may burn. Thanks for watching until the very end. If this story pulled you in, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and tell me your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more dark stories, cursed worlds, impossible choices, and sleepless nights, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see you in the next nightmare.